So the last couple of days, preparing for Thanksgiving, cleaning the house, pre-cooking some things, that opens up the door to creativity in a lot of different ways. And in my morning pages, I kept hearing and writing about altered books. And I have quite a collection here that I would like to share and show with you in different ways. And you're going to see even more from other people out there. The ability to put creativity in a space, on a surface, and explore it and then feel good afterwards is really very healing. This is a really heavy book, big book that is falling apart right here. And it's Visions and Visions is the name of it. And there's that gal from National Geographic. I was able to find pictures of that, and I added on the surface. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of what I've done. Usually there's pages glued together, and then I put gesso on there as a way to push back any words that might be on there, or to add texture, so that when I rub in my acrylics on top of there, I'm getting lights and darks and values. So I'm just going to kind of scoot along here. This picture was already in there. I embellished it a little bit more. I love his eyes. And then instead of gluing pages together, what I did is I just took the pages and folded them, glued them, put some gesso on it, and then added color, did some stamping. And as you can see, just created some fun shapes and moving the color, and just feeling really good as I was working through this. This one here's a little bit thicker. Here's where I glued some pages together, but use some of the deli sheet, or you could use tracing paper or tissue paper, and just added a different thickness of the paper. And, sometimes you can see through this and the page isn't all the way there, so it just creates some interest to look at. Here, when gluing the pages together, what I've done, and see they're not really glued that well together, but that's okay. I stuck an envelope in there in between and let this come out on the top. So this is encouraging you to participate in this, or to find something sacred that you would like to put in there, or a poem or something you would like to remember, that can go in there. So as I'm working through this, you can see just wonderful color. These are great to prep up if you're working in other mediums with acrylic and doing collage or mixed media stuff, and you have leftover paint. You can put that in there. And again, here's another flap that you can work with. Okay, door. There's so many different things, and we've done this before. And here's where I like to glue about 8 pages together, sections. And I usually use 3 pages. Some people use 2. And then what I do is I cut a shape out, and then the next page I cut a different, move it over just a little bit, so that you see a hint of each one of these in there. Now, you don't have to use just a circle. You could use all different kinds of shapes in there. All right, and did some stitching there and that. So each one of these, and then you see a hint of it on the other side. So this book is not, it's just prepped with some color, some interesting areas. I still have more to do. And as you can see, I did not tear out any pages, but the spine has got some wear and tear on it, and that's okay. I think this is just going to be what it is. I'm not too worried about that it's falling apart. I've got some wire in there, and then I've put some ribbons and hung that off of there. So it's not completed, but I am excited about it every time I look at it. Now here's another one, really quick here. This is actually is it a book? Yeah. It is a book, and the book is called Split Images, and I have embellished the surface, did some image transfers on there, some of my own handmade papers. And what I did with this one differently is I went through the book beforehand, and I chose to put 3 to 4 pages together in some different way instead of gluing. So here's some of the brads. Here's stitching. I used wire. Here's a skewer, a little bit of a stick or there was a toothpick. Yeah, and then some fibery, poked some holes. Okay, did some stitching there. So the page is still not glued together. And then I used it as a journal, a writing journal, and I wrote in there. So I embellished and I stuck with the theme, either the blues in there, the white gesso on the back, pushed the colors back and words. And then here's a section, these are called tip-ins, where you tear the page and you add another piece of paper in there and you tip into it. Okay, and so I just took the page and folded it back on itself and then put the paper in there. So this, I believe, is, I believe it's iris paper. I made from irises, leaves, okay. Just some embellishment. Here's some screening I put in between. So you can take these pages. There's just a little bit of a part of the teepee I had. And I cut a piece off, and I love my little jumping mice. Here I folded the page, kept the word ice that was in there, and did some things. So I use this to write. So every time I turned the page, it was kind of exciting to try to journal write in there. So it doesn't have to necessarily be an altered book. You can make it a journal if you want. Now, I sit there and I said something, these 2 pages here are glued. I'm surprised I did that. Anyways, I just tried, there's a way that you can be creative without gluing the pages together and just sewing. Create some areas where you sew the pages together. So that's one there, okay? This one was a book, and nature was a theme throughout, and image transfers with clear packing tape, some nature-oriented natural things, and sewing those in there. That's a rock I have. I took a picture and I added that in there. A feather I found, and I stamped it and used it as a stencil and carried the theme over. So this is a spread, how it works with it. Just playing with the colors, just creating a sense of being and calmness. And here's this woman with all her wrinkles on her face. I think I got her off the internet, but I just love that, all the lines that are there. And these are some plant fibers. And then this is an image transfer, and making some scribes in there. Picture of an eagle. Growth and courage. Doing like a little mandala. Here's a tree that was, I think, no, that is a picture that was added on. Just working with the colors. Here's using a skewer. That skewer went in afterwards. There's an image transfer on there. And it looks like the gesso was on there first. Image transfer over this. There was a song that was there, music. And then I have this page here, energy and renewal. And again, using some stitching and some stamping, adding some color. And I'm not finished with these. This has still got some potential left to go with. Okay, this is one here, and this is actually, the book is called Savage Will, and I just love this woman's eyes here. And so I did the cover and put her image on there, and then just played with the colors, and I just leave, she's got all this spattle that's around there, splat, okay, and then here's an image. It opens up, but only teepee image here. These are things that I saw in magazines that I really liked and brought in. Here's some thread here, a stick. It's on the edge. And this woman here, I made a stamp of some flowers and just brought in another magazine image. Here is a piece of corrugated that I've used many times for stamping, but I just love the way that looks, the way the color goes. I want to live simply, and this is a poem by somebody. It says unknown, and tearing the pages off, turns over. Doesn't have to be an image. It can be just textures and shape and repetition, you know, and how they connect and what you see. And then this one here will open up like this, and a dandelion. I love a dandelion. Just repetitive shapes again, colors. These are little pieces of squares, I think, that are on there glued, and then when you go over it and rub over it, they kind of stand out. And here's this picture here, taking her image, flipping it over, creating a silhouette, and playing with that silhouette within there. And these are my gals here, Frankie and Grace, and their Savage Will, and a fox. Oh, what a fox. Yeah, bringing that picture of the fox in there and playing with the colors and the stamping. And again, here's a triangle shape and how it lets you see through. Okay, so really the page has just been cut and folded back over. And here you can see the fox on this side. And here's this image of a woman and the butterfly. And then what's this? What is this? This has come through here. So this is part of this page. And the Savage Will, there's a hawk there, and the woman holding the hawk, and all of this. And then there's some writing here and some stamping. And this flap opens, but only for a little bit, just to peek in and see the feather. And then you can pull that tight so it keeps it tight. Again, playing with some image transfers, some clear packing tape, playing with color, textures, patterns, and then here's a simple shape here, playing with a pear. You know, find an image of a piece of fruit, use that as a stencil, and you can see where I have stopped. These books, you know, you can't keep working all the time in them. Sometimes you have to stop and give them a break. Here's another one. Savage Will was on the page, and I used her image and went over it, and it's right across her mouth. I don't know, very dramatic there. Finding strength. And let's see what happens on this side. It just has that, playing repetitively. Doing some stitching with the hole. But you can see there again, there's the hole. I was prepping up for it. And then all the circles I used on this side, and I glued them in. So I'm not exactly sure. I kind of set myself up for something here. So these altered books, what wonderful things that can happen here in them. Some of these pages are pre-glued, but as you can see, I didn't glue the rest of them. So this leaves me the option to tear things out and to do more with it, okay? So I work a little bit at a time in it because I don't want to, I want to challenge myself, but I don't want to, you know, stifle and stop, you know. I want to still have openness so that I can make choices with these. So I'm just showing you a few of them. I don't know what this one is. Oh yeah, this is another writing journal. So I've just played with the pages before, added color, used it again for like morning pages journal. I think this was like an afternoon, evening one. And it just did some writing, pockets, flipping through, ribbons, shapes. Nothing special, nothing right or wrong. Everything is acceptable. Okay, and you can see the book. This one doesn't, you know, there's an area that's there. I didn't tear too many pages out. The spine is being compromised here a little bit, but when you hold that in your hand, oh my gosh, that feels really good. Here's another writing one real quick. So you can do pockets. This was a list. 5 people I admire. My father, my husband, my children, my old neighbor, and the students in my classes. Wow. Yep. Open things up. All right, I best stop, so keep on going, but I just wanted to share some of these things that I've been playing around with, cutting pages, flipping them over, different things. Okay. It's really fun to go through and take a peek at some of these that I've done before. But this one right here is really special. I can feel it when I open it up. I was in a place that the creativity and spirituality and nature were really, really all connecting together. So I hope you have fun with your books.